Yo, it's your girl GCG. Welcome back to my world where we are documenting the process of going from zero to hero to live a life of maximum fulfillment. Okay. Clearly, this is my first time going live, so apologize for any technical difficulties. But we here, we lit, we live. We are meal prepping today. We are going to basically be doing a dinner prep. So the idea is that we make dinner for today, but then we got it for like 2 days, right? So we don't have to worry about making dinner again. And that's actually kind of one of my meal prep hacks. I like to sometimes, instead of doing like a huge meal prep, I will prep as I go throughout the week. So if I'm doing a breakfast that's going to be real involved or something like that, maybe I'll make breakfast one day and it will last for a few days. So that's what we're going to do for dinner. It's relatively involved and I don't want to make this dinner every day. So we're going to make it for today and move on. So today, what we're going to make, now that I know that this live is working, I'm just trying to make sure that I'm doing everything right. Okay, I think we're good. Perfect. So we're going to make forbidden rice. So we're going to start with forbidden rice is basically black rice. Let me open this. It's new. So I'll show you what that looks like. I don't know if you can see in there. Let me put some in my hand, but it looks like that. So if you've never had black rice before, it is delicious and it's super nutritious. It's probably the best out of all rice in terms of nutritional value. So I'm looking to see if it has a thing to close back. Anyway, we are also going to make bok choy as our vegetable. So you can see we're going with like a slightly Asian theme. And then last but not least, we are going to make salmon. So this salmon was actually frozen. And so I had to defrost it overnight in the fridge. So we're going to season that up. You already know. And yeah, all right. It's a little bit much moving around in the kitchen. So yeah, we're probably going to move things around. But before we do anything, we're going to start with the rice because that's going to take the longest. I hope that we'll actually be able to finish the rice together. Everything else will probably finish together, but the rice, forbidden rice takes a little bit to cook. So I'm actually going to follow the exact instructions. I don't normally do that because like I said, I cook from the spirit. I cook like a Haitian. We don't have no time. We don't have no measurements, nothing, but I'm actually going to employ some measurements and stuff this time around just because black rice can be really finicky and I want a very specific texture. So we're going to start with a cup measure. And I'm going to measure out 1 cup of black rice. I probably shouldn't be doing this here, but that's fine. Here's what it is. You can see that. Let me do it here. Can you see? Yes, you can. Okay. So I'm just pouring in the black rice into the cup measure. Okay, that's good. So let's read the instructions, which I honestly rarely ever do. But let's see what they're talking about. So it says preparation, combine 1 3 cups water, 1 cup rice, and a pinch of salt. Bring to a boil over high heat, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so this is pretty easy. Instead of 1 3 cups, I'm actually gonna do 2 cups just because I like my rice to have a certain texture. I like it to be like soft, but not mushy, if that makes sense. So first thing we gonna do is wash the rice. I wish I had a proper strainer, but I have this. So we're gonna use what we have. We're gonna work with what we have. First of all, let me make sure the rice ain't gonna just fall through this. Okay, this will work. So let's wash the rice. Put this on the side for a second. This is when I move you. This is what I meant by like, this might get a little cumbersome, but like I said, I'm trying to figure this out because I think this is like a really nice way for us to spend quality time. Okay, so rice, we're gonna put it in this strainer. Miraculously, it's not just falling out. Okay, from there, all I'm gonna do is wash it just in some cold water. Nothing crazy. I also normally, okay, this is better because I feel like I'm talking, you can't see my head. I also normally don't even really wash my rice, but which maybe I shouldn't be admitting. I feel like that's like a crime in some Caribbean culture, but whatever. I just figure like it's going in rice and it's boiling anyway, right? So all the whatever is being killed off. Okay, and actually I don't like in my head, I'm like, how much did this really do, Okay, next thing I'm gonna do, just shake it a little bit. We're gonna drop it in the pot, in the bowl, in the pan, in the pot. Which one is it? Okay, that's pretty much all the rice. And then, like I said, I'm gonna measure out 2 cups of water to add to it. Then we're gonna put it on the fire to boil. Probably wanna add a little salt too to help break it down a bit. Not even to season. I'm not even gonna season it because sometimes I like making my rice or quinoa, whatever, flavorless. That way I can add the flavor that I want later. I'm actually gonna add hot water so it'll boil faster. Okay, so 1 cup of water, dropping it in. And I'll show you what it looks like in a second. It looks so cool. Black rice is like the coolest thing. Okay, so there we are. It just looks like a whole bunch of black water. So we're gonna bring this over to the stove now. I'm gonna show you.
Okay, we're back at the stove.
Okay, good. So you can see that. Make sure you can see everything. And actually, let me use this burner instead. Can you see that? Yes, because the salmon is going to be made on that burner. All right. So let's go back to the instructions. Okay, cool. Okay, so we're gonna boil it on high heat for now. So I'm just gonna turn this on, have it on high heat. I'm gonna add a little salt and I'm just gonna mix it around in there. I'm just using like a regular sea salt.
So,
okay, literally just
a little bit.
And then I'm gonna grab a spoon and just mix it around a bit. Okay, I'm gonna cover it. But what I'm actually going to do, because this cover, it has this hole in it. And like I said, I don't want the water to evaporate too fast. So I want to get the right consistency or the right texture for the rice. So just bring to a boil over high heat, cover. Okay, so we want to bring it to the boil first and then we'll cover it. So what I'm going to do is get some aluminum foil, and what we'll do is we'll cover it with aluminum foil once it's time for it to like simmer or whatever, once we get it to a boil. So in the meantime, what we're gonna do is we're gonna prep the bok choy. We're not gonna make it just yet, but we're gonna prep it. And then we're gonna prep the salmon. But before we do that, I totally forgot, need to turn on the oven. So let's actually review that.
My bad. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do.
We're gonna turn on the oven. I usually like to have it at like 450. Yeah, 450, 425 or 450, just depends. I also like to have my rack at the second rung instead of the middle. So I just moved the rack up a little bit. That's because I like my salmon to cook on high heat. That way I can get it nice and, I'm squatting. That way I can get it nice and crispy. And then the thing is I'm gonna reheat it. And usually when I reheat it, I try to avoid the microwave as much as I can. So I'll reheat it back in this cast iron skillet because that's what we're gonna make the salmon in. And so I don't want it to be like overcooked because then when I reheat it, it'll be dry, if that makes sense, right? Okay, cool. So oven is getting warm. Rice is in the process of boiling. We're gonna move on now to the bok choy. Okay, just make sure we can see everything. Okay, this is good enough. Okay, so here's a bok choy. Move my phone. Move the salmon. Just gonna use a cutting board and a knife. Oh wow, I could have used this foil that I used for the salmon. Oh well.
Next time.
Okay, I think this is good. Yeah, okay. So what I'm gonna do first, we're gonna wash it and all that. We're gonna use the same strainer, but I'm gonna cut off this bottom part first so you can see. Okay. And then from here, it's gonna kind of like, it breaks up a little bit. So you get like these individual leaves, just in case you've never made bok choy before. It's really easy to make, it's not even that deep. And like I said, I'm not even gonna flavor it like that so that I can add things to it like when I actually eat and make a plate. Which make sure you subscribe if you haven't to see the final, like to see it in a bowl, because you probably won't see it in a bowl right now, just because I have a hard out at 5:30. And I think the rice is going to take longer than our live stream to cook. So, okay, let me just cut this up. So, okay. So I'm going to bring it a little closer to you so you can see what we're left with. Let's see. It's nice and pretty. Okay. So what we're going to do, actually, before we even wash it, what I actually want to do is separate each one. And I'll probably do it all at once, but I want to separate each one so that I have this bottom part and then the leaf part separated. That way when I cook it, because the leaf part cooks so quickly, but the bottom part is thicker, the bottom part is gonna take a little bit longer to cook. So what I want to do is make sure that when I start, because we're gonna saute it over the stove, when I start to saute it, I just wanna make sure that I put in the bottom part, like the stems first, and then at the end, we'll add in the leaves. Okay, so basically, you're about to see, we're about to separate the stem from the leaf. Look at me using technical terms. All right, can you see that? Okay, so you see what I'm saying? This is what I was talking about. So now we have the stems, and then we have the leaves. Now, there's a few more to cut like that. So you can cut a few at a time. You don't have to cut one at a time. And I'm just spreading them out or separating them basically. I feel like I'm too tall for the frame, but I want you to see the food more than anything.
That's the most important part.
Anyway, okay. Jocelyn said classes in session. Yes, baby. Classes in session. Okay. So like I said, we're just separating the stem from the leaf. And I'll show you what we have left. So you'll see, this is like honestly relatively quick, which is nice too, because, you know, I'm not gonna have to do it again. I have dinner literally for 3 days in a row. But yeah, it's just nice that it's also quick to do, because what time is it right now? 4:43. Good. We're making great time. We want to put the salmon in by 5. So hopefully it'll be warm. I should have put the oven on to warm first. So if you're watching this back after the fact, make sure you put the oven on first. Okay, this, I'm just gonna get rid of it. I don't think I need, oh, I don't wanna waste. Okay, so here's what we're left with. Leaves, okay? We're gonna put those in the strainer because we're gonna wash them. And then we also have the stems. All right. So next up, we're gonna season up the salmon. I don't know. Okay, and also the rice is starting to boil too, so that's good. Let's see. It's not like a rolling boil yet, and I think we want it to be at a rolling boil first. Okay. Let's see. So I don't know if you can see that. Can I zoom in? Ooh, I can zoom in. Okay. So maybe you'll be able to see because I've zoomed in. I'm taking up most of the screen. I don't want to. Okay. There we go. So I just mixed it around a little bit. It is boiling. I wonder if I can bring you over there. I'm not gonna be able to bring you over, but just know, trust me, it's boiling. So what we're gonna do, and I think you can kind of see. Anyway, what we're gonna do is cover it, like I said, with the foil, right? And then we're gonna put it on low fire. Yeah, let it simmer. So basically I'm just putting the foil on top. I'm putting it down a little bit so that when I go in to cover it, we're good. And then from there, I'm turning down the fire to low. Let me just double check. Reduce heat and simmer for 30 minutes. Yeah, reduce heat. So I'll probably actually put it at like medium low. And then it says to do it for 30 minutes. So I'll just set the timer for 30 minutes. And we'll see. So basically all I'm doing is like closing up all the, I'm pressing the foil against the pot so that I don't allow too much water to escape. Okay, perfect. Good, black rice is done. We are now going to move on to salmon. Okay, so let's get over here. Yeah, okay. So here's the salmon so that you can see. We defrosted it overnight. And what I'm going to do, let me actually take the bok choy out of here for right now. There's a lot of different ways I could approach this. So what I'm actually gonna do is have it in the sink for now. I'm just cleaning out the seasoning bowl. All right, and so we're gonna take a lemon. We're gonna cut up the lemon. Just gonna cut it in fours. Make sure you can see it, you can see it. Okay, now from here, gonna take a salmon and we're just gonna clean it with the lemon juice. Probably only need one lemon, honestly. Okay, and then from there, I'm gonna put it in the seasoning bowl. Another piece. And you can like rub the salmon down a bit with the lemon. It just gets like that sliminess off. So make sure you can see. Okay. So that's that. All right, so the salmon is clean. Now, the first thing we're gonna do, I think it was Izzy who was like, how do you make your salmon? It always looks so good. So the secret ingredient to like salmon that's just so poppin' is mustard, believe it or not. So let's grab some mustard. That's what we're gonna start to marinate it with. I'm just using literally regular yellow mustard. It's perfectly fine. I've never used anything else. And I'm just gonna squirt it, because you don't wanna overdo it. So I'm just gonna put one little dollop on each piece of salmon. Let me clean this off. It's gonna be annoying. And I'm gonna show you what it looks like. So I literally just put a dollop, you can see that, a dollop of mustard on each piece of salmon, and then I'm gonna just rub it in, right? So it has like a little coating on it. And this is where the seasoning will be able to stick. Even the seasoning is gonna be really simple. Normally I would season the salmon with adobo, but I don't have adobo, which is probably for the best because adobo isn't necessarily like the healthiest, but it's tasty. All right. So now they're all like, it's rubbed in, so it looks like this. It has like a little orangey yellow look to it. Okay, rinse off my hands and put the mustard away. I actually envisioned us like chatting more, but I kind of want to just make sure that we know all the steps, then we could chat if we got time. Okay, so that's that. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add salt, garlic. If I had cayenne pepper, I would put cayenne pepper, but I don't have. Or if I had like pepper sauce, like Caribbean pepper sauce, I would add. Also don't have that. So I think it's gonna be very simple today. Probably, yeah, some black pepper. We're gonna use that salt. Where's the salt? Oh, here it is. The salt. And then we're going to use garlic. You could use garlic powder or garlic granules. Just make sure that you're not using garlic salt because we're already gonna put salt. Oh, shoot, I do have some adobo, but it's like a little bit. It's not worth it. Okay. Back to seasoning. So let's go back. Okay. So now we have everything. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start with the salt. And again, I don't really measure it, just, eyeball it. Obviously, don't do the most because you can always add later, but you can't take away. So just be cognizant of that. And I usually like to do both sides. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna put garlic next. I like to be liberal with garlic because I feel like it gives a good flavor. Not I feel like it does give a good flavor. That's the whole, like if I really want to do it up, we could have used fresh garlic and made a garlic paste, but we'll do that another day. Okay, I'm going in with the black pepper. This, I don't like to do too much with it because, I don't know, I don't be liking to do too much with it. Okay, so let's see if you can see that. Yes, that's what it looks like. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flip them over to the other side and just make sure the other side gets some seasoning too. And then, so a little salt on that bad boy, a little garlic on that bad boy. Ooh, the oven's almost warm too. Baby, we're making good time. Come on. You saw me put the garlic down and pick it back up.
You could never have it.
Actually, you could have enough black pepper though. You could never have enough garlic, but you could definitely have enough black pepper unless you're making cacio e pepe, which actually we should do. I have a vegan recipe that's like succulent. Okay, so next step, salmon is seasoned. We're just gonna let it sit there for a little bit. But what we're going to do is get the cast iron skillet nice and hot. So I'm making this with a cast iron skillet, but you can do this also with just like a baking sheet or whatever. What you would do is I usually like to spray down the baking sheet. I'm actually going to spray this down a little bit, even though you don't necessarily have to because salmon makes its own oil. But sometimes it's nice too. So I'm just spraying down the cast iron skillet with this avocado oil spray. Like I said, you could do the same exact thing with the cookie sheet. Okay, so you would just do you would spray the cookie sheet. Everything is the same with the salmon. And then instead of putting it on the stove top like we're gonna do, you would put everything on the cookie sheet and then put it in the oven, keeping the rack at the same level that we put it at, which was the second rung instead of being in the middle. And then you would just bake it in the oven at like 450. Yeah, 450 is good for like 20-ish minutes. Probably the easiest way to do it. You just put on the timer and then forget about it. But this is going to be different because essentially what we're going to do is we're going to pan sear it in the cast iron and then we're going to finish it in the oven. So slightly different technique. And right now I'm just letting it get warm. Slightly different technique, similar results. They're a little bit different sometimes, but anyway, this is the cast iron skillet version of salmon. But yeah, if you have questions though, like I said, if you're watching this after, just leave me a comment below and I can always answer if you're like, okay, but how do I do it on the cookie sheet again? And I'll give you step-by-step instructions. Okay, so the oven is now warm. I'm actually gonna turn down the fire a little bit on the rice, just like a little bit, like a tiny bit. Okay, I think the pan should be ready now. Yep, I don't know if you can hear that, but that crack sizzle pop means that the pan is ready. So I have it on very high heat. How do I normally do this? Okay, so the way that I do is I do it skin down first. It could have been hotter. That's okay though. It'll be fine. Okay. So I started on the skin side first, just to get that initial crisp of the skin going. I'm still here. Showing a little leg. Okay, cool. So it's going now. Put it high. And I like to cook it on each side for like 2-ish minutes, maybe that. But we're gonna let the skin get nice and crispy. Okay, let me see. Someone said something. Oh, Jocelyn. Yes, baby girl, you already know I was ready. Salmon's one of my favorites. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad. Salmon's everybody's favorite. Salmon is so good for so many different things. Because of the omega-3 fatty acids and so many other things. It's actually a really good food for depression. I call salmon happy food. It's like avocado. Salmon and avocado to me are like happy foods. When I realized that they help with depression, back when I was like younger and really struggling with depression, I ate them every day. So Okay, so let me see if you can see that. Yeah. I'm gonna actually zoom into the food a little bit so that you can get a better look. Let's zoom in to the salmon. And you're gonna see what we're about to do with it. So now we are going to flip them over on their side. I usually just use my hands, but I'm gonna actually use a fork today. So I'm just flipping it over on the side now to get a little color. So hopefully you can see this. I'm gonna zoom back out. It's a little bit chaotic. But yeah, we're gonna let it cook a little bit on the side. I didn't even like announce the music, but low key, I didn't want to announce the music because it's so good and I don't even know if it's gonna pick up. Anyway, whatever. Like I said, first time for everything. We'll be able to fix it later. Okay. I'm gonna flip it again. Now we're gonna put it on, I guess you could say, the bottom side, like basically the opposite side to the skin. Ooh, I wish you could see the color. You'll be able to see it. Because we're not gonna leave it in the oven that long either. And this bottom side, we're not gonna leave it too long because it's actually gonna cook on that side in the oven. So, all right, I'm gonna flip it now because this fire is really high, which actually I'll turn that fire down a little bit. Now we're cooking it on that other side. Make sure you can see. We'll do an up close view of them bad boys. Look at them. Yes. Okay. Uh-oh. I know it was coming. I really wanted to avoid putting on the vent, but here we are. Okay, so now I'm putting them down. And this is the part where we're gonna put it in the oven, so let me just show you what it looks like. Okay? Give you a better shot of that. I'm sorry, hold on. It basically won't stop until I open a window, so I just opened the window because it's so annoying. Literally had to open the window. Let me see. It's almost done. So annoying. Dang. 1 second, I'm gonna go open another window. Okay, back. So the next thing that we want to do, because we have 30 minutes left, I'm not even gonna leave the salmon in there for too long, like I said. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna time on my phone because that timer is already occupied for the rice. So where's the timer? We'll leave it in there for like 5 minutes. Salmon cooks very quickly, and like I said, I'm gonna reheat it anyway. So we're gonna do 5 minutes. We'll check it and see, but if it's not where we want it to be, we can always leave it a little longer. Okay, so we're back here. This needs to go in the dishwasher, but we're now gonna just wash off the bok choy. So I just wanna make sure the water is cold enough. so now that that's washed, the next thing to do is saute it on the stove. So we're gonna get a skillet, just a regular skillet, not a cast iron. You could use a cast iron, I guess, but you don't even need all that. That's a little heavy duty for some bok choy. All right, so it's gonna be similar to what we did before. We're gonna spray it with the, oh, I don't need this on anymore, thank God. Okay, can you hear me now? I hate how loud that thing is. Okay, so we're gonna spray down. And we're gonna let this get hot. And then remember what I said, we're going to put the stems in first because, why put the stems in? Oh, because they're gonna take longer to cook than the actual leaves. So I'm just gonna start separating out the stems to the leaves. Because they're going in first. This mix goes so hard. I think this is actually Private Ryan, who I have not oh no, this is DJ Joe. Okay. Well, actually, let's start from the beginning. Because it was kind of low, because I was like, oh, I don't know, what I'm doing. Okay. Look at people, body truck, look at people, body truck. Okay. So we got all the stems out pretty much. I was just throwing some water on the pan to see if it's hot. No, not yet. It could be hotter. We want that sizzle crack pop to be loud. Okay, let me see. We here? We here? Yes, we here. We here with it. Okay. I feel like I need to greet you. How you doing today? What you up to? How your day been going? Because I depending on you. This time. Ooh, 1 minute and 42 seconds left for the salmon. I'm just checking on them. I'm probably going to take it out very soon. But before I do that, what I'm going to do is put the stems on and then we'll take the salmon out, which we're going to have to move things around. So here we go. Stems are going in. All right. So let them things do them thing. You can see. Okay, cool. Cool. We're gonna just take this. Actually, what I need to do is turn the backfire on for this black rice. Ugh. Yeah. That's over. I don't know what's going on with lighting my stove lately. Okay, there we go. We're gonna shift it over to the back, keeping on low fire. Apparently the black rice only has like 10-ish minutes to cook left. Salmon has 18 seconds, so we're gonna take it out. This might have even been too long, but it'll probably be fine. Ooh. Okay, baby, it's sizzling. Can you? Let me close this. Okay, so there we go. I don't know if you can see that, but it is sizzling. So we're just gonna put it on the fire, let it cool down. So we don't need the oven anymore, so I just turned it off. Turning off this timer. Okay, now bok choy is cooking. So what we're gonna do with the bok choy is salt it up just a little bit, because yesterday I seasoned this thing and it was like, I don't know, it just didn't need that much. Took to the salt very quickly. Garlic we're gonna put last second, just because it can kind of burn in the pan, and then just the whole thing. So black pepper we're not gonna use. Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay. Well, I might have to turn the fire down. It's kind of high there. And I don't want the thing to go on again. So I'm just gonna mix it around now. And another thing I could do actually is cover it just to make it cook down a little more. Okay. Like it. Excited. Like yourself. Like yourself. Like yourself. You see me cooking with my hands again. I told myself I won't do this no more, but dang, we're doing so good. That's so annoying. I'm sorry. Well, learned quite a few lessons today. Christopher! Oh my gosh. Sorry for it's so loud. Christopher, yes, you can absolutely listen in. We're just making dinner right now. Naturally Stell. My outfit. It's from Lululemon. What I'll do after I post this, once the live is done, I'll link the link to it in the description. But it's basically like a it's like a one-piece thing. And you can work out in it, but I usually just wear it just to wear. Okay, so here's where we are with the bok choy. And I guess if you're just joining, let me just let you know what we're making. We're making black rice. So I don't know if you guys have ever had black rice before. Oh my God, it stopped. Thank God. Okay, let me turn the vent. So, what'd you say? Naturally so I hate when that happens. Me too, girl. It's like, I'm telling you, these apartments were not made to cook. I'm going to show you. There's this permanent burn mark on the ceiling, and I've seen it in other apartments because they didn't design this place to cook. And I guess it's because in New York, people order so much, and I didn't realize it until I moved here. Christopher, yo, if you could smell the salmon, hold on, let me show you, because I don't know if you got to see this part, but look at the salmon. We made it, we started it on the cast iron skillet, and then we finished it in the oven, which actually I'm going to transfer it into a thing, but we're going to now add the leaves in. So if you're just joining, we put the stems of the bok choy in first, and now we're going to add the leaves. Yeah. And I could actually chop up the leaves too. Actually, maybe I will do that. Chop up the leaves real quick. I'm just spraying the pan a little bit to get ready to add the stems. But let's go. I'm going to show you. I'm going to chop up not the stems, the leaves. Chop them up a little bit. I'm just reading they were not like, I'm sure my name is thinking. No, literally. But the thing is, everyone always hears everyone else's alarm. So nobody even, that's the thing that's kind of scary, because what if there was an actual fire? Nobody would know. People would be, oh, they just cooking. Like, what? What, huh? So anyway, yeah, it is really annoying, but it is what it is. Eventually, I'll have a house or just a different apartment, and this won't be a thing anymore. Okay. So I just chopped them literally super rough chop. It wasn't nothing special. So this is about to go in the Christopher said, you moving in, Chris? What, you paying rent? You paying New York City rent? Okay, so the leaves of the bok choy going in. Let me make sure. We might even have time to make a bowl, because I still have 20 minutes before I have my meeting. That's why I was like, oh, let me just come and show y'all. Also, don't mind me, I always cook with my hands. I really need to stop doing that. But I don't know, I just feel like it moves it around the pan better. Okay, good. Yeah, so let me see. Okay. So yeah, the reason why we put the stems in first is because they're harder. And I think I said that earlier, but just to remind you of why we did that. They're harder, they cook down a lot slower. The leaves will cook down quick, so I wanted to put them in after the fact. So yeah. So we're just gonna move it around now. At this point, I could probably add a little more salt and bring the fire up a little bit. And I just use sea salt. Okay. Okay, so there's 4 minutes left on the forbidden rice. Lord, I pray it come out how I want it. But even if it doesn't, the good thing about covering it with foil is that I can uncover it and then let the water finish evaporating. Okay, so I'm gonna turn the fire off underneath the bok choy, but this is it. I'm gonna add a little bit of garlic now. We're at the end.
A little bit of garlic.
Mix it around. Now I'm gonna put it in like a meal prep bowl. So usually I like to use the glass ones just because it's hot, right? So it's better to put it in glass than plastic. I don't want to overcook it, so. All right. We got bok choy. This will probably last, I might need a little more bok choy than this. It'll probably last me like 2 days maybe. So I might want I'll probably go get some. And then this is the cover. I'm not gonna cover it yet though, because I don't want it to cook down too much. So I'm gonna put this to the side. The next thing that we're gonna do is put the salmon. Let me just show you the salmon one more time. Like, look at that. We're gonna put the salmon into a meal prep bowl as well. I'm trying to think which one is the best to use, because I'm gonna eat one today. Oh, G is here. Christopher said I have a stack of Monopoly money. That's not gonna pay the rent. Okay, see you nice in the kitchen. You already know Jimmy nice in the kitchen. Okay, sorry, I'm a little bit late on the comments because I'm trying to make sure I don't burn nothing. You know what? Let's use this one instead. Okay, so we're gonna use this to put the salmon in. I'm going in with my hands, don't judge me. Ooh, they got really colored on the bottom. Let me zoom in so you guys can actually see it. There we go. You can see what's going on. Okay. So here we go. And this one here. And this one. Put it here. So same thing with this. I don't want to cover it right away. Let me zoom out. Oh, I don't know why I didn't bring my little stick over. I have a stick that can zoom in and zoom out. Okay. Clearly I'm like very new to going live on YouTube. I used to do it like literally every week on Instagram, and we used to cook, and I was like, you know what? I want to show my YouTube fam some love, but anyway.
This is the salmon.
So we're gonna put this to the side too. And then the last culprit that we have, I'm just gonna move this and put this in the, actually no, I'm not gonna put it. The last culprit we have is the forbidden rice. So let me just see. I'm here, I'm supporting. Yes, G, thank you, G. Well, because I mean, first of all, shout out to everybody that's here. Also, if you are here, let me know where you're tuning in from. Yeah, let me know where you tuning in from. And be sure to subscribe, because I'm thinking about doing this every week. Like, would y'all want to cook together every week? I feel like it would be cool just to, spend some quality time together. That's like my top love language. Well, quality time and words of affirmation. But I like both probably equally. But quality time be hitting different. I don't know. I like both. Anyway. Texas, dang! Christmas Day from San Antonio. That's so cool. I've never been to San Antonio. I've only been to Texas once, and I was in Houston. So, Christopher said, I love that you cook with a cast iron skillet. That's awesome, because it's a very underrated culinary necessity. Extremely underrated. I love cast iron skillets. They're just so versatile. There's so much you can do with it. Okay, so apparently it should be good now. The black rice. We're gonna find out. So let's just talk about what we did with the black rice real quick. So if you're not familiar with black rice, it's kind of like brown rice, but way better, like way better. So many more benefits, and it's actually anti-inflammatory. So if you're going to eat rice, the best choice is black rice. Now, granted, it really depends on like your goals and where you at in life and health and all that. I don't see any food as good or bad, but there are foods that are like super powerful, if that makes sense, right? Black rice is one of them. So if I had to choose a go-to, I'm always going to choose the super powerful for my go-to, right? Cool. So like I said, I normally would not cook with instructions, but this time I use the instructions just because I haven't made black rice in a long time and I wanted it to come out perfectly. So basically let me show you the instructions. Not that you can read them, but you might be able to. Anyway, in the instructions, it says, bring to a boil over high heat. So we did that. It says cover, reduce heat, and simmer for 30 minutes. So the 30 minutes just ended. It was simmering. What I did, you can see, is I covered it with foil in addition to the cover. That way I could like trap, what am I trying to say? Trap some of the water in there so that it wouldn't be too grainy. Like I don't like grainy rice like that. So Christopher said, come on down, I'll leave the light on for you. I appreciate you. Do you have an accent? That would be so cool to find out if you have an accent. You probably do, maybe not. Are you from Texas? Okay, this has nothing to do with anything. Anyway, so we're about to unveil this thing because it's been 30 minutes. And basically, what does it say? It says to remove it from the fire after 30 minutes. Remove from heat. Let stand covered for a few minutes. Fluff and serve. So what I want to do, because I had it covered with the foil, I'm actually going to uncover it with the foil, but cover it back with the top. We're gonna let it stand for a little bit, and then 5:25, I gotta be out. So what we're gonna do is clean up a little bit, and then I'll show you, the final lineup, and then we'll go into the rice and see what it's looking like. I really wish I could move the camera more, but just remind me to get a longer USB so that I can actually show you more close-ups or whatever. Anyway, I just wanted to do this instead of being like, oh, I can't do it because I don't have this. Like, it's good to start with where you are and what you have, because oftentimes that's enough to at least get the main idea, right? So, yeah.
This is an example of starting where you are and using what you have.
All right. And I need to do these dishes, but that's going to be after my 5:30 meeting. Oh, okay. So Chris says, I'm calling him Chris like I know him. Chris says that he is actually from Lake FO, Illinois, northern suburb of Chicago. Okay, cool. Cool. So you do have an accent though, because like the Midwest accent, there's an accent. Y'all don't sound like we do. Y'all don't sound like the East Coast people. Okay, I'm just putting a few things away, and then you see the little meal prep spread. So, like I said, what's really nice about prepping like this is basically this is what I was going to eat for dinner, but instead of just making one serving, I made some. So now the next 3 days I have dinner ready. And what I was saying was that like this is a really good meal prep technique in general, where you don't have to sit and spend a whole day prepping. You just like, okay, I'm going to eat breakfast. Is this going to be a very involved recipe that I'm not going to want to make every day? Cool. I'm going to make enough to last XYZ days, and then you don't have to think about it again. You know what I mean? Now, if you did this on a day, like if you started fresh each day, so meaning if you had no meal prep at all, so breakfast you knew it was going to be whatever, lunch you knew it was going to be involved, so you made it all in advance, then eventually you would have all your meal prep, but you wouldn't have to do it all at like one time, if that makes sense. So, yeah, let me just see. Okay, G says he agrees. He agrees. All right. I'm just moving these dishes out the way. And I think we could probably fluff the rice now because we let it stand for a few minutes. And I literally have 3 minutes before I have to jet. Crick said this is a normal Caucasoid accent. That's crazy. Nah, I still feel like Midwesterners have an accent. It don't matter if you white, black, purple. Y'all be having an accent. Okay, let me show you the rice. Oh, this is the spoon I was using in it. Okay, so if you've never seen black rice before. Ooh, there's still a little bit of water in here. That's because I used more water than it said in the directions, but that's okay. Because I do want it to, let me see. I want to taste it to see what I think of the texture. That's good. Okay, so that's the black rice. I'm probably going to put it on the fire a little bit longer. Just because I want to get rid of some of that excess water. I don't have to do this. I could probably just like strain it or something, but anyway, that's basically it. And I'll just show you to remind you what we had. So that and the black rice. And the black rice. All right. Well, if you want to see a full meal prep, a fuller meal prep that's going to last for longer days, that's also plant-based, check out the next video. Yeah. And other than that, I'm gonna jet because I have a meeting at 5:30, but thank you for being here with me. We gotta do this again. For real, we gotta do this again. We got more content coming. So if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. If you haven't shared with your friends, share with your friends, because you already know it's supposed to be our community. Okay? Okay, bye, I love you.